So I'm not entirely sure what the appeal of these kinds of videos are, but I've been getting asked to make one for literally years now. So I figured, why not? I need to do a gear inventory anyway because my stuff is scattered all over the damn place. The last few big trips I've made, I've had to condense what I can do because I've taken other people's cars as passengers. I had to fit all of my clothes and camera gear into one bag, so my stuff has just been scattered. But since you guys genuinely seem to be interested in this, here we go. Let's do this. This is my camera. It's a Canon 5D Mark III, and I'm using a Rode video mic up there to record the audio. I should have it flipped around like this, actually, to pick up my voice, but I'm lazy. So this is my drone. It's a DJI Phantom 3 4K. It's a really confusing name, but it's a pretty good drone. This is the stabilizing gimbal, and it makes me feel like I live in the future. If you were to tell me even 3 or 4 years ago that these were gonna be commonplace and people were gonna be filming stuff from mini planes, I would have thought you were crazy. I've crashed this thing a dozen times or more, and I've never even broken a propeller. I do wish that I would have waited until the next line of drones came out because the new ones are so much better. The footage has a clarity to it that this one just doesn't have unless the conditions are ideal. And to be honest, I absolutely despise using my phone as a screen. You might say, damn Cody, what the hell happened to your phone? Well, I was filming a drone shot on the 4th of July when these little pegs gave way. One broke off and the phone fell. I've super glued it back in since then. The phone's been screwed ever since. Here's all my portable audio gear. We have a Zoom H6, which is what I presently use, a Zoom H4n, which is what I used to use. I keep both of them because this has a distinctly different sonic atmosphere than the Zoom H6 does. I'm not saying it's better or worse, it's just different. It powers up incredibly quickly, which was my biggest complaint about that one. That took 10 years to load. This takes literally 2 seconds. I have 2 Shure SM57s. I could have swore I owned 4 of them, but I can't find the other 2. I have 2 Samson pencil mics that I have admittedly never once used. So I don't know if they work well or not. I thought I would use them a lot to record drums and stuff, but I've never had a need to use them. And I have a Blue Spark, which doesn't get used nearly enough because it is a magical little microphone. And it comes at a budget price. I didn't spend very much for this microphone at all, and it's great to record vocals of any kind. Would definitely suggest this. This little condenser mic came with my Zoom H6, but I haven't really got a chance to use it much. I imagine if I ever did a podcast, this is the extension I would use. This is my wireless shutter. I got it on Amazon for I think $10 maybe. If you're doing stuff like star trails, this is incredibly important to have. This shutter will do the job for you. You just press it down and every 30 seconds or so it'll do another shutter. When I'm feeling lazy though, I also have a wired one here. I think I spent $2 on this one. We've reached our first miscellaneous bin. This all goes in this little bag right here. We have a lighter with a hair tie around it, which is incredibly important because if you use flash gels like I do, having these will save your life. It's so much easier than any other method to just wrap the hair tie around the gel. A little creative lens cleaner in the shape of a lens. It kind of looks like my 24-70 lens that I'm using right now, and I'm pretty sure that's the only reason I bought it. A pack of razor blades that really helps with Gorilla Tape and stuff like that. A dust brush that frankly I don't use. It came in a pack. We have a pop filter. I should probably use that on this actually. Pop, pop, pop. A wired flash transmitter for these bad boys, which I'm going to get to in a second. Another tripod mount and a tape measure. I don't use it much, but I figure it might come in handy eventually for something. Over here we have a set of Stanley mini wrenches, which helps if your lens breaks and you want to try to fix it yourself. I wouldn't suggest trying to fix it yourself though. That's what I did with this lens. This is my Sigma 10-20mm and I completely screwed it up worse than it was. It's hardly even functional now, but I can't get rid of it because this was the first nice lens I ever bought. These are my headphones. They're a set of Audio-Technica ATH T22s. They were cheap and they work well. I wouldn't suggest mixing a record on it, but to record field audio, it's more than enough. This is one of my flash units. I don't know the exact model number, but I would go Godox if you're looking for cheap flashes that work well. This flash works just as well as any professional grade light I've ever used. There's no sense in spending thousands of dollars for lights when you can spend $300 or $400 like I did here and literally get the exact same results. It might not have all the bells and whistles that the expensive ones do, but it does the job very well. That said, one of the big caveats to using this flash is having to wire it into this thing. It's heavy, it's bulky, it gets in the way, and it's frustrating. This right here is my broken Manfrotto tripod that I still use anyway because it's so easy and I love it to death. I've owned it for a very long time and I can't just throw her away. I've developed a weird relationship with her, and even though the relationship has been soured, I can't let go. Cause I love you, baby! I spent way too much for this tripod and I never use it. I thought that this little mechanism right here would be great for video, but all that it does is make the camera unstable. It's basically a $210 paperweight. I use it when I have to, but I don't very often. We have a little Targus monopod, and my favorite tripod of all, this Manfrotto that I found in the garbage. I watched a company just throw this away. I waited about 20 minutes and then I grabbed it. I literally use this all the time. It is a fantastic tripod and I can't believe I found it in the trash. We have 3 individual ProMaster flashes. They are incredibly bright and they last forever, but they're controlled with a Nikon transmitter that's wired, and this causes some issues with my Canon gear. Sometimes my camera doesn't want to recognize this. I haven't been able to find another one that works though. These are my Godox V860 Ving speedlights. Again, they're a budget version of Canon Speedlight series. I think I got both of them for less than $200 and they literally do exactly the same thing that the Canon version does. This is my oldest surviving piece of equipment. It's a Canon Speedlight 430EX. It doesn't get a whole lot of use these days because I have these bad boys, but I can't get rid of it because it still works. And if these ever fail, I have this on standby. I hope I took the batteries out of it though. You don't ever want to leave old batteries in anything. Okay. I was intelligent about that, at least. We've reached the second miscellaneous pile with a little mini tripod that I use for my phone. We have a set of screwdrivers and we have this weird always powered on flash. It's really obnoxious, really bright, and it gets really hot and it drains the battery of any camera you put it in, but it's useful occasionally. There is my ring light. It's a cheap Young Now ring light and I use it for my macro shots. That's my Canon 100mm macro lens. That's my Sigma 50mm f1.4 art lens. This is my favorite lens. It's a Canon 24 to 70mm f2.8L. And my Canon 70 to 200mm f2.8L telephoto lens. And miscellaneous 3. We got 2 tripod mounts. We got a DJI battery, a Canon battery, an inhaler, an Apple iPhone 5C. This is great for long trips because it's loaded with music and books, and that's why I keep it. A set of video filters that I don't use. The worst camera of all time, a Polaroid Cube. Do not buy one, they are garbage. We have an extra tripod mount for the GoPro, and a mini tripod for the GoPro. This is my Canon Vixia HFG20. I'm trying to use it more because it's handy for B-roll stuff, but I wish I would have just waited and got a 4K camera. This is my GoPro Hero Session 4. It's a giant pain in the ass, but I love it. This is my Pentax 35mm Spotmatic camera. I don't use it very much, but it produces amazing images. It just has a cheap Sears lens on it. You can tell that I don't use it much because of how much dust is on the lens there, but if it was cheaper to do film, I would do way more of it. But I'm trigger happy and I run a roll in about, I don't know, 2 minutes. We have a Lomo Instant Mini Polaroid camera. I use this all the time because it's fun and you can buy the film at Walmart. This is single-handedly the weirdest piece of equipment I own. It's a DJI Osmo camera. It's basically just a little Steadicam that shoots in 4K. I haven't been able to use it at all because I lost the battery months ago, but in preparation to doing this video, I found it, so I'm going to be using it again. Again, it's controlled with your phone, which I am not a fan of, but what can you do? Right here we have my Canon and my Godox and my DJI chargers. The most essential thing in this whole collection is a nice pile of duct tape. It saves my ass all the time. We have some waterproof matches that, frankly, I don't know why I own, but I do own them, and they stay in my camera bag. And we have a little mini flashlight. Right here we have a mic accessory that blocks out wind. We have an inhaler. We have a set of hot hands because I'm a wimp. We have my flash transmitter, hard drive 1, hard drive 2. We have a mouse for my laptop and a set of lens cleaning wipes. 2 multi-tools. We have the old one that I used to use It's nice, but everything's been dulled because I've owned it for 10 or 15 years, and the new one that I bought a couple years ago, it comes in handy when stuff breaks. We have a card reader, and this is my laptop. It's an HP Z6. It has a terabyte hard drive, an Intel i7, 32 gigs of RAM. It's a pretty good little workstation when you're on the go. And last year I went a little crazy on the stickers. I bought a whole bunch of them. Just spiced it up a little bit. We have a guitar capo, which is going to introduce us to section 4 of the miscellaneous items. Right here we have a set of polarizing and ND filters. I use them for long time exposures sometimes. We have a collection of pens because I have to have pens, notebooks because I write all the time, and you have to have essential reading. I have a Charles Bukowski book and Keith Buckley's novel called Scale. We have some Claritin for my allergies and some cigarettes because I am hopelessly addicted to them. I load 2 bags full of stuff when I go to places. I have one Canon bag that I used to use for my camera. What are you doing there, mouse? Get over there. This is pretty much just a glorified cord bag. I'm really messy with my cords and just in general. This is my mine shaft bag. It's what I use now. I love it because it has all these little ports. This is a little fanny pack that you can put your lenses and stuff into, so you don't have to carry all of that with you. It's easy to keep your stuff organized with these packets, and you can move them and bend them in any way you want. We have my laptop case, which is nothing special. I got it at Walmart. We have a little mount for a phone and a Calumet flash stand. I really need to get a C-brace because this thing falls over constantly. Buried in there is a cell phone charger, another little mini screwdriver, and a webcam. We have additional flash stands for when that one inevitably breaks. And we have a scrim. So there you have it. There's all my junk. I'm going to pile as much of it into my camera bag as possible. There's no chance I'm going to get everything into those bags, but I'm going to decide what's important and what's not. The stuff that isn't important is going to go on the shelf that is recording this video right now because I don't have access to my tripod at the moment. But I have a real problem with letting gear go. I don't get rid of anything ever because selling equipment is stupid. You shouldn't do it. Even if you buy something that's newer and nicer, it's not guaranteed to last for life, and if something breaks, like a flash or something like that, it's good to have something on standby. There were a couple things I forgot to show, and I'm just now realizing, like my business cards, a little fisheye adapter for my video camera, some lens caps. We got some brackets for the ring light. Memory cards, I have a ton of those. More hard drives. This one's named Beavis. Just some screen cleaner. All the essential stuff, really. Again, I don't particularly see the appeal in videos like this. It doesn't really matter what you have. Up until very recently, I didn't have a whole lot of gear at all. I've invested quite a bit of money into myself in the last couple years because this is what I do for a living, and I hate when I can't take on a job because I don't have the proper gear to do it. I still have that problem now because technology moves so fast it's impossible to keep up with it. For instance, the only cameras I have that are capable of shooting in 4K are my drone and my DJI Osmo cameras, which are both great little cameras, but you can't use them all the time. They're not main cameras, they're B-roll cameras. I'd really like to get the Sony A7 or one of the Lumix cameras, but they're expensive and right now I don't have the capital to do so. Another thing I'd really like to buy is a monitor, because it's really hard to tell what you're getting in your camera, especially with video, like on a sunny day. It's really hard to tell. There are times where I filmed something and I thought I filmed it perfectly, but when I got home I realized the footage was underexposed because I'm looking at it on a little low resolution screen on my camera. Having a monitor would be great. So it doesn't really matter how much stuff you have. You can get great stuff with your phone. All of this stuff isn't necessary, and much of it I don't even use often, if at all. I just can't get rid of anything once I buy it. Now see, for me, if I was wanting to know what someone was using and I found out they had all this stuff and I didn't have anything, I would feel really discouraged. I'd be like, well, I can't do what they do because I don't have the equipment. But the fact is, up until literally 2 years ago, I had a camera, a microphone, and a 50mm lens, and that's all I had. Don't let the lack of equipment stop you from producing stuff. I worry that that's going to happen with some people. So even though I don't see the appeal, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And I hope it takes me 15 years to make another one, because it's not really my bag, man.